Welcome back to Iraqi Dinar News, the place where we keep you informed with facts, not hype, and where every Iraqi dinar holder can finally understand what is truly happening behind the scenes in Iraq's financial system. Today, we are talking about a quiet shift that many people are not paying attention to, a shift that matters more than rumors, more than speculation, and definitely more than wild predictions online. If you hold IQD, this information could be the most important update you hear all week because the real change is not happening on social media. It is happening inside Iraqi banks, inside economic reform meetings, inside Iraq's government policies, and inside international compliance systems. Stay with me until the end of this video, because by the final minute, you will see why the smartest investors are focused on what is already being implemented, not what people hope will magically appear overnight. No hype, just facts. Let's begin with the truth about the currency and why this phase is so important right now. Iraq's central bank continues operating with controlled and calculated precision. The parallel market rate, often a big source of stress among IQD followers, is no longer showing those wild swings we used to see in the past. Instead, we are watching a slow tightening, a deliberate move towards stability. Why is this so important? Because no legitimate monetary reform can happen while a currency experiences daily price chaos. Iraq needs an exchange system that behaves like a stable and trusted financial market, and that is exactly what we are seeing right now. It is not a crisis, it is not a collapse. It is not a secret meltdown where things are falling apart. It is intentional stabilization, a necessary foundation before any next steps. The central bank is enforcing electronic transactions, managing dollar flows, strengthening oversight, and reducing loopholes where illegal currency trading once thrived. These are boring headlines for hype channels, but in real economics, these are the headlines that actually matter. Stability comes before strength. Every serious economist knows this. And Iraq is clearly prioritizing stability first. Now, let's talk about something many newer investors may not understand: compliance and global coordination. Iraq cannot adjust its monetary policy in isolation. When a nation wants its currency to be respected globally, every bank, every transaction system, every international partner must show confidence that the financial environment is clean, transparent, and monitored. Right now, the Central Bank of Iraq is cracking down on those who spread misleading financial messages, especially people attempting to manipulate public expectations for personal gain. This includes social media figures encouraging illegal currency behaviors. They are tightening not just the banking system, but the information environment surrounding banking. And yes, they are using modern technology, including automated scanning tools, to detect suspicious financial narratives. This might sound aggressive, but it reveals a very simple truth. Iraq wants its financial system respected. And to earn that respect, they must demonstrate control, security, and compliance. These are not rumors, these are actions we can see clearly happening now. The digital systems inside Iraq's banking network are now more advanced than at any other time in their history. Government leaders continue to talk about electronic financial reform, about integrated systems that reduce corruption, speed transactions, and allow Iraqi currency to operate within a modern banking structure. This is not the Iraq of 2010. This is not the Iraq of sanctions-era isolation. This is a country plugging directly into the world economy through technology. We see them upgrading systems that track currency movement in real time. We see them enforcing international standards for banking communication channels. And most importantly, we see them moving away from dependency on physical cash because a cash-heavy system is easier to exploit and harder to modernize. For those waiting for the big moment, this is the groundwork that must be laid. Without it, nothing changes. With it, everything becomes possible. The progress is real. And that matters more than any rumor about dates or secret numbers. Many Dinar followers keep asking, when will they remove the zeros? But here's a fact-based perspective that most hype channels ignore: the removal of zeros is not a magic button. It is not simply a rate change or a sudden revaluation. It is a complete restructuring of how currency is used inside Iraq. Any adjustment to the currency must be practical, logical, and aligned with the real economy. Iraq cannot just change the number printed on a note unless purchasing power and internal pricing systems are prepared to adjust with it. Economists call this a redenomination framework. And yes, Iraq has openly stated multiple times that they want to restore currency strength and purchasing value. But they will do it in a way that protects their citizens, not in a way that creates chaos or confusion. The timeline is not driven by community speculation, it is driven by measurable economic readiness. When government revenues strengthen, when non-oil sectors improve, when inflation is controlled, and when banks are fully compliant, that is when reform becomes possible, not before. Let's talk about Iraq's economic strategy, the real one, not the made-up secret plan. Oil revenue remains the nation's biggest income source, but Iraq knows this cannot be the only thing they depend on forever. That is why we see massive focus on infrastructure revival, foreign partnerships, state factory restoration, and local production. When a country produces more goods inside its own borders, it reduces its reliance on imports, which strengthens the national currency by reducing outflow and increasing internal demand. Reports clearly show that imports have been gradually declining, not because Iraq is shrinking, but because it is beginning to rebuild its own industrial capability. Does this take time? Yes. But smart investors understand that long-term fundamentals will always influence a currency more than any rumor ever could. Iraq wants to be competitive. They want global investment. And they are rebuilding the economy step by step to make sure currency reform becomes sustainable, not temporary. Another shift that deserves attention is Iraq's expanding international partnerships. When a country with massive natural wealth, strategic geography, and a young workforce becomes stable, global investors take notice. Iraq joining new regional economic networks shows that big opportunities are opening. They are no longer a nation shut off from the world. They are forging agreements that bring technology, revenue expansion, and development funding. Why does this matter for dinar holders? Because global confidence is a currency's greatest asset. When other countries want to invest, want to trade, want to connect, it proves Iraq is not moving backwards, but forward. And as confidence grows, so does the potential for long-term monetary reform. Again, these are not mysterious signs or coded messages. These are openly visible changes in Iraq's financial direction. One topic gaining major attention inside Iraq right now is energy infrastructure, especially the power grid. You might not think electricity has anything to do with currency reform, but it actually plays a huge role in economic modernization. Digital banking, manufacturing, automated government systems, AI adoption, foreign investment, all of these rely on stable power. Iraq knows they must expand their grid if they want their economy to grow at the speed they are aiming for. A strong financial system requires a strong physical infrastructure. So Iraq is investing in power reliability, so the future economy is more than just oil, it is connected technology, processing, logistics, and new industries. If Iraq wants their currency to reflect a modern and powerful nation, they must build a modern and powerful infrastructure. That is exactly what they are focused on today. One area that many hype creators avoid talking about is the real impact of international oversight. The IMF, the EU, Treasury, the World Bank, and other global institutions do not allow sudden currency transformations unless the economic foundation supports it. Iraq's reforms are successful today because they are using global guidance, not because they are secretly rebelling against it. Currency reform must work inside the worldwide system, not outside of it. Iraq wants foreign companies and global markets to trust them. They want international credit rating upgrades. They want to eliminate corruption labels that have damaged confidence for years. So when they design policy, they make sure it fits into the standards used by the largest financial powers in the world. This is not a conspiracy, it is how international finance works. And for IQD holders, this is actually a good thing. It means Iraq will not take reckless risks. They will pursue a strong, credible, globally accepted solution. Here's another fact many people overlook. The United Nations is reducing involvement in Iraq, not increasing it. The mission that once existed to stabilize and monitor Iraq after conflict is now wrapping up a strong signal that Iraq is ready to stand on its own. Security transition is happening. Economic sovereignty is being reclaimed. The U.S. military presence has been reduced dramatically. Iraq is taking ownership of its decisions, including monetary reform decisions. When a country moves from dependency to independence, it strengthens its position in the global economy, and global markets respond positively to nations that control their own future. This transition shows confidence that Iraq is no longer a fragile state but a rising one. Many long-term Dinar supporters have remained patient through years of uncertainty, but in recent months, patience is being rewarded with something more valuable than rumors' consistent progress. Government modernization, financial restructuring, and economic diversification are happening simultaneously. These are the real signs that a nation is preparing for a different monetary future. Not hype, not storylines. Not sensational this week for sure, claims. Instead, real policy, real reform, real results. This is the type of story that actually leads to financial transformation. Let's take a moment to address confusion because confusion is often used to manipulate investors. Government officials sometimes speak in ways that are misunderstood, especially when it comes to currency language. When they talk about strengthening the dinar, that does not automatically mean a sudden high-value exchange rate. It can mean strengthening local purchasing power, stability, and inflation control. Stronger doesn't always mean more expensive on the foreign exchange market, at least not immediately. So, when officials discuss future planning, it's important to understand the economic meaning behind those words, not just hope they imply a windfall event. The most successful currency reforms in history have been gradual and grounded in domestic economic performance. Iraq is following that same path. Now let's break down something crucial. The biggest changes in currency systems are often quiet. They are not announced with fanfare. They are not released with countdowns. They are not predicted accurately by anyone on the internet. They happen when the internal conditions, banking, security, public confidence, business environment reach the point where reform is safe and beneficial. Right now, Iraq appears to be strengthening every internal factor that matters most. That is the real signal here. Not the rumors, not the noise, not the speculation. Quiet progress is the most reliable progress. And Iraq is moving quietly, methodically, and with intention. Viewers often ask, but when is the big moment? The honest answer, the one rooted in real economics, is this. The big moment does not arrive until the groundwork is complete. If Iraq rushed change before systems were ready, it would trigger chaos, lost confidence, inflation spikes, foreign investor withdrawal. They are ensuring that does not happen. They want success, not shock. So instead of asking when, the smarter question is, what has already changed? And the answer is, a lot. Banking modernization, government restructuring, compliance upgrades, international partnerships, currency stability work. These are not rumors, they are verified changes happening right now. Let's expand on the importance of locals gaining purchasing power. True monetary reform should benefit the people who use the currency every single day. If the average citizen struggles, confidence in currency collapses. So Iraq's goal is to build a nation where a dinar has strength inside Iraq first, not just outside. They want their citizens to feel the impact of reform before global markets do. That means adjusting prices, wages, and internal economic conditions in a balanced way. This is the responsible approach, and it is the path that leads to sustainable success, not hype-driven disappointment. We must be realistic. Even though progress is strong, Iraq still has challenges to overcome. Reducing corruption, rebuilding older factories, improving energy distribution, these goals require patience and resolve. But the presence of challenges does not mean failure. It simply means Iraq is still in transformation mode, and transformation is better than stagnation. Smart investors acknowledge reality, both the good and the developing. And the reality today is that Iraq is on a path of upward movement, not downward. Every week, new economic agreements are signed. Every month, new technology enters the banking sector. Every year, more global integration is visible. This is how nations rise in value. Not with dramatic overnight news, but with quiet daily progress that compounds into major change. The currency's future is tied to the nation's future, and Iraq is focusing on building a future worth supporting. Investors who pay attention to the real picture see a country getting closer to monetary strength, not farther away. Social media can be dangerous for currency holders when excitement replaces realism. Many creators post sensational promises because hype gets clicks. But hype does not build wealth, knowledge does. That is why this channel focuses on true developments and logical expectations. If you are holding IQD today, your smartest strategy is to understand the economic story, not just speculate about a date. The more informed you are, the more prepared you will be for whatever comes next. One day, Iraq's currency will be valued for what the country truly is, a nation rich in resources, opportunity, and human potential. The timeline is not controlled by influencers. It is controlled by policy, by growth, by stability, and every new reform adds another piece to that future. Patience is not weakness, it is strategy. The success Iraq is building is real, and real success does not need hype to prove itself. So, here is the honest takeaway for every IQD holder watching this. The quiet shift happening today matters more than any dramatic prediction. Iraq is not waiting for luck, they are building a foundation. And when that foundation is fully complete, the changes people have hoped for will finally have a place to land. Stay educated, stay patient, stay focused on facts, because the truth is that Iraq is moving forward slowly, yes, carefully, yes, but forward, and that is the most important direction of all. No hype, just facts. Close, call to action. If you found this real update helpful and want more honest reporting with zero hype, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update. Comment below with your thoughts. Do you prefer fact-based news like this over rumor-filled speculation? Your feedback helps keep this channel strong and truthful. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay informed, stay smart, and take care. We'll see you in the next report.